Hey everyone, David with Our Week in Homestead. Well, we're super excited today. We just received 2 nukes of our carnelian bees, and so we've brought them up here to their bee yard on Rancho de Mayo, and we're going to go ahead and get them installed in their permanent home up here. So why don't you come with us and we'll show you how we install these nukes into their new hives. The first step is to order your honeybees. We don't typically buy our bees online and have them shipped, but we buy from a reputable beekeeper that has a pickup location in our area. The thing to keep in mind is professional beekeepers are typically from sunup to sundown working their bees, so they typically will set up a location somewhere in your area and then you meet them there at a designated time, and then they turn around and hit the fields and start working their bees again. We typically order our bees in December, and then usually they'll contact us in January or February and tell us when they'll be ready. Most of the time in our experience, the bees are ready for pickup around April or early May. There's 2 different ways to buy your bees. You can do a 3-pound live bee package. This consists of a container chock full of bees and some feed, and then there's also a queen tucked away in there inside of a queen box. The other way is to buy a nuke. Now the nuke is a 5-frame small hive, and what it is it's a queen, her brood, and basically a colony that's already established. If you're looking to get a head start with your colony, nukes are the only way to go, and that's the only way we buy our bees. The last thing you need to decide is what type of bee you're going to get. The 2 types are carnelian and Italians. For the last, Carnelian's better, some like Italians. So I don't really have a preference yet, but we're giving the carnelians a try this year. So 4 months after ordering our bees, we received an email from Brad, the beekeeper, and we came up with a time and place that was convenient for both of us. I was fortunate enough that Brad had a few minutes and could answer some of the questions and concerns that we've had with overwintering our bees, which is some of the troubles we've had over the last couple of years. Just keep in mind, you're not going to learn the entire Beekeeping 101 from your beekeeper in the parking lot of the Arco. After a few minutes, we went over to his truck and transferred the nukes from his truck to mine, said our goodbyes, and we were heading off to the property to install the nukes in our own bee yard. So we just got to the property and we're here with our new nukes, and we're going to take these girls up to the bee yard and let them out and let them get used to their new area, and then we'll come back this afternoon and install them in their hives. So now that we got them up here, we're going to go ahead and open these nuke boxes and let them out. This will allow the foragers to go out and kind of get a lay of the land, and quite honestly, when they're pinned in like that, they're getting kind of angry. So we're hoping we'll let them settle down, let the foragers go out and do some foraging, and then when everybody gets a little more comfortable and gets a little quieter, we're going to come in here and move them from this nuke box into their new hive. So while we're waiting for the bees to kind of settle down, I'm going to go ahead and start preparing the hive bodies that we have for them. We brought these 2 hive bodies out from last year. We use an 8-frame deep hive body, and when we get the nukes, they already come with 5 frames that are established. It's an established colony with both honey and brood. So what I want to do is go through these 8 frames and pick out the 3 that have the most resources for them, just to kind of give them a head start. So before we release the bees and put them in their hives, taking a few minutes to do a little spring cleaning. We clear the grass away from the rack. It acts as a highway for the ants to get up onto the rack, so this way they can only go down the poles, which we can manage with Vaseline. Now it's time to smoke the nukes. Give it a few seconds to let the smoke kind of permeate inside the hive before opening it. Now carefully use your hive tool and gently pry the frames apart from one another. The bees have a tendency to glue them together. Be careful when you're removing the frames and placing them into the new hive that you don't drag them against one another. Always remember that the queen is in there hanging out somewhere and you don't want to injure her. Another thing to notice is that the empty frames I split on either side of the new hive, and we always want to put the active frames in the middle of the empty ones. As you're putting the last couple of frames in the hive, you'll notice that I removed the 2 empty ones to make room for the 2 frames in the nuke that have bees all over them. I do this so again I don't accidentally drag the frames against one another as I'm trying to slide them in there. So this wasn't a smart move. I should have made sure that the queen wasn't in the empty nuke box before dumping the bees back into the hive. The other thing is, you could have just left the empty nuke box with the bees in it next to the hive, and eventually they'll go back into the hive with the queen. After all of the frames from the nuke are back into the box, I carefully start sliding over the frames to create more room in order to put the empty ones. Just remember to take your time because you don't want to damage any bees, and you really don't want to damage the queen. Now that all the frames are installed, it's time to put the top cover back on and slide the lid over the top of the hive. Also, remember to make sure that after you put the cover or the lid back on the hive, that you leave the gap in the front so they can use the door on the top cover. So the next day, after we were done filming and installing our nukes, we were so happy with the bees that we received that we called up Brad and ordered 2 more nukes and got them installed. So this about wraps it up for this video. Lisa and I are super happy to have these 2 new nukes in our bee yard. We're gonna also go into treating the bees for varroa mites and how to test for that. And we have a lot of other videos coming up here on the property. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified when we release new videos. Also, I'll put a list of some of the items that we use down in the description below. We love connecting with you, so please leave us a comment in the comments section. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.